Gemara says, main simonim of what to look for when searching for a chilazim. The Gemara says, we mentioned va'ila echad le'shivim shana u'v'domov tzayvim tcheles lefichach domov ykarim. The dye from the chilazim is very expensive to dye. And the supporters of the Murex bring this as mamish a Gemara, Mefureshas, that it's the Murex, because the Murex is one of the most expensive dyes that they ever had in those days. As a matter of fact, I think we mentioned that in the earlier times, in Pliny the Elder, he writes that dye from the Murex or from any snail were worth 20 times their weight in gold. That's very expensive. Now, why taka was it so expensive? The reason why it was very expensive was because every snail produced such a little bit of amount of dye. It's unbelievable how little it produced, to the extent that they bring down that in order to produce 1 pure ounce of Murex dye, you need 250,000 snails, which means that you have to have hundreds, maybe thousands of people getting them, working through them, producing them. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, and that taka is very, very expensive. And that shtims, the Gemara says, domov ykarim. So it seems like there's one of the simonim that Chazal bring down as the main primary criteria to become the chilazim, shtims. Except that that's called ignoring Rashi. Rashi brings down on that Gemara, Rashi says, what does it mean, lefichach? What's the lefichach? Lefichach domov ykarim. So Rashi says it's not going back on the domov tzayvim tcheles. Rashi says, lefichach she'enoi oile ela achas la'ayin shana domov ykarim. Rashi says that the only reason why it's expensive is because it comes up very unoften. It comes up echad l'shivim shana. And that reason of echad l'shivim shana is the cause for its expense. Rashi in Bab Mitzvah, Samachalov says the same thing. He says, Vatcheles domer ykarim, because it's echad l'shivim shana. So clearly Rashi's learning that the aside, it's not something that really has very little dye in it. And because it's very little dye and hard work, that's why it's very expensive. It's clear that really the Yisaidif would be very, very common, very easy to find. It would be maybe cheap. But the reason is because it's has a cycle of once every 70 years, and it comes up very unoften, so the male that's the male ykarim. So in a way, for Akar, it's mashma from Rashi that wouldn't be the Murex. The Murex wouldn't have this Indian of lefichach domel ykarim. Now, the Maisa is, they say, after everything, they say, and even if you're going to say that none of the simonim really shtim with the Murex, it's not gufay daimel yam, it's not tzarasei daimel dad, it's not eilos shivim shana, and the reason of damel ykarim is not b'davka. Then they come along and they say, it doesn't matter anyways. Just because it doesn't shtim, doesn't mean it's going to slug up the Murex. Why is that? They bring down, Rabbi Tavka brings it down, but the Levushar, they go with such a thing, and they say, can't bring a raya from these Gemaras. Because these Gemaras are very mu'urpal, they're very not clear what the Gemara means. It's very hard, if you don't look at the Rishayim, it's very, very hard to figure out what the Gemara means. Gufay daimel yam, what is that? What is a yam? Does a yam mean, what does daima mean? What does gufay mean? What does briyase mean? These are all unclear. And since they're so unclear, it can't be that Chazal gave it a simanim. So what it means is, it's a derech agadita. We have some Gemaras which are agadita. The Gemara is medam to certain things to certain things. A leiv is daima to a tamar, and a rav is daima to fasayim, and there's certain dimyonis that Chazal are medam milsa lemilsa. And they say that this Gemara is no different. It's agadita Gemara. It's not a Gemara that was given to really understand and to find the chilazim with it. They had the chilazim. They didn't need to give simanim on the chilazim. And so therefore it's Agadah to Gemara. So the Mela, even though it doesn't fit, that doesn't slug up the murex. So the Maisa is, it's a shver zach to say like that. It's very shver to learn like that. I mean, the Rambam brings it down. The Rambam doesn't bring down Divrei Agod in the middle of Hilchos Tzitzis. He's bringing down these simanim of Chazal because these are simanim which Chazal gave in order to give the true characteristics of a chilazim. You can find it. The Maril, which is what they base a lot of their hanacha on, that it wasn't nignaz. He says because today the Maril says you could come back. The chilazim can come back very easily because he says if you look in the Rishonim, there are many gemaras. There's the simanim, the kalim, so it's very easy to find it based on the simanim. So it doesn't seem that according to the Maril, the simanim were very mu'urpal, they were very unclear and very gray, and therefore, and not Agadah. That's if it was Agadah, you wouldn't say you could find it based on the simanim of Chazal. And then they say that, and even if not, they say, you have to understand that when Chazal say doime, they don't necessarily mean doime mamish. It could mean a dimyan rochik, very dimyan rochik. And they bring a Chacham Tzvi that uses such a lashon like that on Taka and Agadah to Gemara. And he says that when Chazal are medamis certain things in Agadah, it doesn't necessarily mean to be understood that's exactly the same. So they say so over here also, maybe it's L'shitasim, but they say over here that when it says doime, it doesn't mean that all doime can mean a very dimyan rachik, and therefore whatever they do say it means, even if you don't accept that it's mashmos and Chazal, that's not a steer because doime similar can mean very, very slightly similar. That also seems to be ignoring Rashi, because Rashi in Saita says, the Gemara says that Techelet is doimel yam, yam is doimel rekia, rekia doimel kisei hakovin. Rashi's bothered why the Gemara says doime. Why couldn't the Gemara just say that the Techelet is doimel kisei hakovin? And then you remember the kisei hakovin. Why do you have to go through the yam, the rekia? And Rashi says that doime. When the Gemara says a bunch of few dimyonis, so then it doesn't necessarily mean that the first Techelet is going to be doime to the kisei hakovin. That's a few dimyonis away. Taka could be a shtickle dimyon rochik. Therefore, the Gemara had to say, so you're not going to really get the clear picture. So therefore, the Gemara had to say, no, the Techelet is doime liyam. One doime is Rashi is a dimyon carve, has to be kemat exact. And then the yam is doime l'rekia, which is a very close dimyon also. And then the yam, the rekia is doime l'kisei hakovin. It's very clear in Rashi that when Chazal say doime, unless they make doime, it means a very, very close dimyon. So therefore, to say that when Chazal over here say that hufay doime liyam, it's either agadat or it means a dimyon rochik. You find so many times in Chazal that they rely on simanim of Chazal, treifis, simanim in behemoths, everything they say doimen, they mean doimen. There's a whole Shulchan Aruch with Yishayim and Achrayim about what exactly, how it's exactly the same, and just to machavek and to say that doimen means in a dimyon rochik, and therefore they say even if it doesn't shtim with the simanim of Chazal, it doesn't slug up the murex anyways. That's Arachim.